Hello and welcome to Mukherjee Partho channel. Good to have you with us. Australia wrapped up the World Cup 2007 campaign with an emphatic victory against Sri Lanka. Their unbeaten streak continuing to 29 matches. And as Ricky Ponting said later, that no team has dominated this tournament as we have. And the coach John Buchanan, who stepped down after this tournament, said there is a difference of day and night between us and the rest of them. Now, how true his statement was, because Australia, first of all, never had to bring all the players in any one innings. Australian planning must have been meticulous, because when Ricky Ponting won the toss, he decided to bat first without any hesitation in mind. And as Australians are always so meticulous about the planning, I'm quite sure they would have had a look at the weather report and he would have figured out that if Australians batted first and the rains came down later, the Duckworth-Lewis method will come into play, and that makes the life that much more difficult for the team playing later, which the Sri Lankans did fine. Now, of course, the tournament ended on a farcical note. First of all, it was just too long, 47 days long, and later on, the umpires Aleem Dar and umpire Steve Bucknor, they're messing it up, and the match referees Jeff Crow later on admitting that yes, there was an error on the part of the match referee plus the other umpires, including Rudy Gertson. Now, as far as this final is concerned, well, one has to doff his cap to the wonderful performance from Adam Gilchrist. This 35-year-old cricketer reserved his best performance of the World Cup. This was his first century in the World Cup, the fastest in the World Cup final, and he became the 5th person to score a century in the World Cup final. In 2003, his captain Ricky Ponting had scored a brilliant ton against India. Well, Adam Gilchrist is smashing 149 of 104 balls, made all the difference. And the captain of the Sri Lanka team, Mahela Jayawardene, he paid the wonderful compliment saying that, well, I was just on the other side of the fence. As the opposing captain, I just had to see and marvel at the performance. Well, the 11th over, 14 runs. The 15th over, 19 runs. The 17th over, 14 runs. The 22nd over, 14 runs. They all make the difference. Adam Gilchrist started very slowly, 24 runs and 24 balls. But later on, he smashed the ball all around the park, cracking 8 sixes. And this was the 100th time Matthew Hayden and Adam Gilchrist were partnering as the opening pair, and 16th century partnership was there between them, and they equaled the world record of Sachin Tendulkar and Saurav Ganguly. Now, Adam Gilchrist may not play the next World Cup, perhaps this was his last World Cup, and after this victory, Ricky Ponting was saying that Matthew Hayden and Adam Gilchrist perhaps can extend their career at least by 2 years. Now, the people who are in their 30s like Saurav Ganguly and Sachin Tendulkar, they must see and learn from people like Sana Jayasuriya and Matthew Hayden and Adam Gilchrist especially, that what kind of physical fitness they have to maintain to come out with such awesome performance. And after Adam Gilchrist's innings was over and Australia had moved beyond to a 200 runs target in the 38 overs match, it was quite clear that the things are beyond the reach of Sri Lankans. Now, one has to pay compliments to Sana Jayasuriya as well. He fought bravely and he was given good support by his team members. Upal Tharanga definitely was I think he got under the pressure of the nerves and he lost his wicket, and it was clever bowling from the Australians as well. But then Sana Jayasuriya also crossed a milestone. He crossed 12,000 runs in ODI and he's now number 2 on the overall list. He's about 2,000 runs still behind Sachin Tendulkar, who has 14,000 plus runs in the ODI list. But this 37-year-old Sana Jayasuriya showed that he's not only a good batsman, he's a perfect all-rounder. He's a brilliant fielder. The way he was running between the wickets and he was chiding his partner Kumara Sangakkara to run faster, that is something which people like Ganguly and Tendulkar should emulate and learn from these people. It was perhaps the last World Cup for Muralitharan, who is 35. Who knows, Jamil Abbas, who is 33, will be able to come back in 2011 or not. But then they gave wonderful performance. The Sri Lankans were defeated but not disgraced. But they were up against a much superior team. Australia came into the final after having lost the CB series against England. In the Tri-Nation series, they lost to England in the final. Then they had lost the Chappell-Hadley series against New Zealand 3-0. But then the Australians, they know how to recover and plan for major tournaments like World Cup, and that is exactly what they did. And John Buchanan really molded the team and brought them up, psyched them up for this final frontier, if you will, which was World Cup 2007. As Ponting said that no, John Buchanan was simply not bringing out the gear from the buses at the various venues and putting it back for the last 3 years. As Buchanan had said that these boys are so amazing that I didn't have to do much with them. But then the captain said that the coach really has to do much beyond taking out the cricketing gear and putting it back. Well, humility has always been one of the forte of John Buchanan. We don't know what kind of next assignment he will have. But then this World Cup final also saw the last hurrah of Glenn McGrath. He's known as the Pigeon, and the Pigeon had a wonderful flight. He took 1 wicket, carrying his tally to 26, the highest in any World Cup tournament. We don't know whether his record will be broken in 2011 or in the subsequent World Cup tournaments or not. But then Glenn McGrath will always remember for the kind of bowling that he used to send down and the work ethics that he followed in his life. He had his ankle operation. He came back after recuperation and went through the procedure which the Australian Cricket Board stipulates for any player, and it was not relaxed for even Glenn McGrath or Shane Warne. Now, the Pigeon may be associating himself as a part-time coach for the Australian team because the incoming coach of the Australian team, Tim Nielsen, has said that it will be a shame if we didn't have the services of Glenn McGrath in some way or the other. So the Australians continue to dominate. Ricky Ponting has said that we will want to maintain this pressure and this momentum going in forward. Let's see if any other team other than Sri Lanka recover and they can come up with a performance in 2011 which can give a real solid challenge to Australians. But then, congratulations to Australia for their fabulous performance. They played absolutely in a professional manner, every one of them turning out with their best performances. Sean Tate is a revelation. He was thought to be a person who was not getting into the group, but when it mattered, he really showed the potential that he has. So Tate, Bracken and McGrath, the threesome, were awesome. But let's see whether Brett Lee, who was recuperating and who had injury problems before this World Cup, can come back in the team. He of course will come back, but then he will have to fight his way into the Test team and the ODI teams. So once again, congratulations to Australia and congratulations to the fabulous Ricky Ponting and John Buchanan squad. And all the very best to John Buchanan and Glenn McGrath in their future endeavours. This is Partho Mukherjee signing off. Thanks for being with us.